All right, as somebody that is not very old into poultry farming, I've been able to face a number of challenges. Come on, it's been interesting. It's always very interesting to see myself learning from my mistakes. You see, these challenges come with a lot of financial losses at times. It comes with emotional toll. It comes with just a lot for you to manage. Challenges ranging from your birds dying, a disease breaking out in the farm, fluctuations in the prices maybe of materials that you use for feed production, fluctuations even the prices of your products. Maybe the price of egg goes up and it goes down. Even problems that are related to equipment failure are all part of the challenges that you will face. And so why am I doing today's video? Is not to make you afraid. I'm doing today's video so that knowledge is going to make a difference when challenging moments arise, when equipments fail on your farm. I just came back this afternoon to the farm, and come on, the pipe that supplies water to the automated drinker got disconnected and water spilled throughout the chicken house, soaking up the litter. That's a challenge, and it's coming from an equipment that is failing. So all these challenges will always come, but what builds that resilience, what builds that joy at the end is that you are able to overcome. The past 3 to 4 weeks has been very challenging to us on the farm here, and today's video is here. I'm here to share with you the challenges we face. I'm here to share with you challenges that you might face in your journey, and not just share with you, but share with you how I've been able to overcome those challenges. The only reason I'm doing this video is because I overcame. The only reason I'm doing this video again is because the challenges came, and yes, we overcame. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we drop our video. This is Farm Life. So some weeks back, we brought in a new batch of birds, and you haven't gotten any update as to what has happened to those birds. We've not lost them, they are still there, but something terrible happened. Upon all the biosecurity measures we have been able to put in place, making sure that we disinfect before going there, making sure we restrict the access of people that are not part of the farm, making sure we restrict access to those birds, our birds still got sick. And guess what? This was not just coccidiosis, this was not just maybe some sort of coryza or just some sort of cough. This was Gumboro, deadly Gumboro. You can imagine that. So despite all of those measures, Gumboro still broke out in our farm, and the first time we ever had Gumboro on our farm was with the current batch of birds that are currently laying and are currently in production now. They were attacked by Gumboro some time ago, and we overcame, but as at that time the losses were so enormous. A great number of the birds died. And these ladies you see here are just survivors. They are just remnants of that flock. So the flock that we currently brought in, Gumboro braked in, and like 95% of those birds became sick. And what made the difference for us is that the mortality we had with the first bird was different with that we had with this bird. The losses were not as terrible as what happened with the first batch, because we were able to manage this up to today when the birds are fine. So it's quite unfortunate the birds are currently not on the farm here because we had to relocate them. So I have birds here, we have birds at the second location, and we have birds at the third location. And why did we remove the birds from the farm? We removed the birds so that we can be able to disinfect the brooder. We are just there to allow the brooder vacant for some time so that we can come later and disinfect, and so that we can pay attention. One of the challenges we also had with the flock of birds, the recent flock of birds we brought into the farm, is that the location where our farm is currently, there's no electricity there. So our primary source of heat has always been the 1000 watt heating bulb, and it was so costly. It has been so challenging for us to brood those birds right here on the farm, because the cost for charcoal is very expensive. Charcoal and wood is very expensive where I find myself. So if next my birds are to come on the farm and we don't have electricity, instead of getting a generator, buying fuel, buying charcoal and looking for another heat source, I rather prefer to look for an off-site location that has electricity, and I get to heat my birds there. It helps me, I cut down the cost. Come on, charcoal is expensive where I am, fuel is expensive where I am, getting a generator is expensive where I am. So that's one of the reasons to why we moved our birds to a location that has electricity, and when they are grown up big enough to handle cold and handle temperature issues, we'll bring them back to the farm after we have disinfected the brooder. So our birds got sick, and come on, it was quite challenging. If you have not watched the video I did on the channel on handling mortality and reducing death on your farm, you should go and watch that video. That video actually helped me. We have been able to control and to manage that in a very great way. And like I told you, you always have challenges. As I mentioned earlier, while coming to the farm this afternoon, I discovered that our drinker, the pipe that supplies water to our drinker, was just disconnected, and water has been flowing into this chicken house for over an hour. And you know what that means? It's going to make the place wet, it's going to make it smell if it's not well handled, and birds can still get sick from it. So challenges will always come. It comes at times to test your resilience, it comes at times to make you stronger, it comes at times to make you knowledgeable. There are mistakes I will never make. For example, talking about the birds that got sick, how did Gumboro get into our farm? Normally on the farm, for you to get access to that brooder, one of the mistakes we made is that the door that leads to that brooder, you actually need to pass within this poultry house. You need to pass within this chicken structure before going to that brooder. And after all the investigations, after all the checks and everything, we did our vaccinations, we made sure people get to disinfect from outside before coming in here. And the only way our birds got sick is because of the linkage that this current chicken structure is having with the brooder. Under normal circumstances, your brooder should be quite separate from this current structure, because these birds, they are strong, they have built a lot of immunity against some of those diseases, and what affects those little chicks there might necessarily not affect them. So it is suspected that the disease came from here. Of course, they don't look sick, but they can be carrying that thing on their body, and then you get to catch. But we thank God, after 10 days of working with the birds, giving their drugs, following them up, giving them vitamins and everything that it needs for them to recover, they are finally recovered. That's the reason I'm doing this video. I'm doing this video to encourage somebody out there that is distressed, somebody that is stressed out. Maybe your birds are sick. Come on, calm down, go and learn. Go and do research, get to find out what is happening. Actually be calm, talk to God about it, and trust me, be consistent in treatment, do your best, and everything is going to be okay. So what specific thing did we do that has helped us in the recovery process of our birds? What is that specific thing we did? The first thing we did is that we isolated the birds. When we discovered that they were sick, we actually displaced them. We moved them from this farm to another location that, number one, has light, and a location that we actually disinfected and prepared for them. So that's the first thing we did, so that the disease doesn't spread out maybe to other flocks or to other areas of the farm. So we carried all of those new batch of birds to another location, and treatment and everything took place there, not here. We removed them from here so that we can disinfect the brooder and get the brooder ready for their return. That's the first thing we did. And the next thing we did, since we monitor our birds closely, the discovery was early. So we're able to discover that those birds were sick early enough, and we started the treatment in time. And I gave reports to my technicians, I gave reports to my vet. I don't know whether I have a farm and the birds are sick, it has a cure. There's a way it can be handled. Is that okay? So make sure that you monitor your birds closely, and make sure that if you identify or you see that something is not okay, you give reports to your vet. And the next thing we did that brought our birds back to their feet is that we made sure that we administered their drugs very, very carefully. We made sure that we gave them the drugs in time, we gave the drugs the right dosage. You see, birds normally when they are sick, the appetite to eat will not be there. Sometimes the appetite to drink water will not be there. So there are times that you have to actually pick them one after the other and you begin to give them that drug. Actually, discover some of them are bitter. So most times when you put water, they run away from, they don't drink. You put water in the morning, you put water in the morning, you come back in the evening, the water is still just standing there, and they have to drink that water for them to get well. So what I did, despite the fact that I had the drugs, was that when I discovered that they were not drinking the water, I had to take them one after the other. I and the people that are on the farm with, we had to take them one after the other, and we gave them those drugs. Sometimes they'll tell you that using a syringe, it can help it can cause the bird choke, but come on, in that state, the only thing I can do is to find the most possible means for them to have that drug enter their mouth. So we had to open their mouth one after the other and begin to drop the medication, mix in their water one after the other. This was the only way I ensured that my birds took the water. This was the only way, and after 3 days of doing this consistently, the recovery process began. Just like a newborn baby, at times the baby is sick, and so most times you see parents getting a newborn baby, and at times they'll have to hold the hand of that baby and force that medication into the mouth of that baby. It's all for the good of that child, because the state where that child is, the child is almost helpless. Just like most of our birds, they were helpless. So we had to help them open their mouth, make sure that they actually took the water. Don't sit and your birds are sick and then you just sit and you put water and they don't drink and you just think that they will get recovered. There is nothing like that. If you see that they are not drinking the water, help them drink the water. Take their heads closer to the water and make sure you dip their beaks into the water. If it's very, very critical as mine, open their mouth, open the beaks and drop the medication inside. And the last thing we did is that even still at the new location where we moved the birds to, we maintained biosecurity. Washing the hand, disinfecting yourselves. Summarily, we practice best biosecurity measures even that way. So with all of those measures put together, I can tell you happily that we overcame. Our birds are doing very, very fine. And after the isolation period, we'll disinfect. We have disinfected and we'll still keep disinfecting the brooder, and we'll get the place ready and we'll bring them back in now, not into the brooder, because of course they have passed brooding age. To bring them to the other side of the farm, and they are going to do well, and will give you feedback and report as to everything that is happening here on the farm. So challenges always come, but what makes the difference is careful planning and knowledge. Whenever you're faced with a disease or a breakout on your farm, or things are not going well, sit down, take your time, ask yourself what you need to do, and get to do it as fast as possible. If you have a disease that is disturbing you on your farm and you don't know how to handle that, leave a message at the comment section and we'll help you on how to handle that. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time we drop a video.